Well, new tonight, stunning 911 tapes connected to the case of an 84-year-old pro-life woman who was shot while going door to door in Michigan.
Trying to have me sign a petition, and I won't do it. And I told her to get off my property, and she wouldn't go. My husband nicked her with a gun.
And so he didn't shoot at her?
Yes.
He did shoot her.
Now, the shooter was later charged in the incident. He claims that Joan Jacobson, the pro-life volunteer, would not leave his property. Joining us tonight is David Kallman, the attorney for Joan Jacobson. David, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. We just heard that quick clip from the 911 call. What more can you tell us about what happened?
Well, it's really amazing what happened. Joanne was going door to door to folks who were on the list for absentee ballot purposes, had been to about a dozen homes, urging people to vote no on Proposal 3 here in Michigan. She got to this home, the lady answered the door and was immediately antagonistic and yelling, very upset at Joanne. After just a couple of minutes, Joanne realized, well, I'm not getting anywhere here. The lady demanded that she leave her property, and she turned to walk down the porch and walk off her property and was leaving the property. And then a minute later, her husband came out of a barn, had a gun, and admittedly, he fired a warning shot. Now, why he had to fire a warning shot when she's walking away, our client's 84 years old, barely 5 foot tall. I don't understand that, but she was walking away, and then a few moments after that, he was up with his wife. She turned. The lady followed her off the porch, continued yelling and screaming at her. She saw the man there, saw that he had a gun, had the rifle, and said the minute that registered with her, the next thing she knew, the rifle had gone off. She was shot, and she was shot through her upper shoulder. It exited at the rear base of her neck. It just missed her spine. The doctor said it was a miracle that she wasn't hit in the spine. And she was just shocked. She was stunned. And she looked at them, did you just shoot me? And they didn't say anything. And she was able to turn and walk and get to her car and drive to a local police station just a couple miles away and get help. She had to then be taken, obviously, to the emergency room and receive treatment. And she's doing fine at this point. She's recovering from her injuries. But it was just a stunning turn of events. Why that gentleman needed to bring a gun to something like that is beyond me.
Well, we're so glad to hear that she's doing fine. What an ordeal for sure. And we understand that she was out gathering signatures to defeat Prop 3, which would allow abortion on demand up until the day of birth, something that most people, I have to add, consider infanticide. In addition to that, it would also allow minors to get an abortion without parental consent, as well as obtain cross-sex hormones and surgeries such as mastectomies for children who are gender confused. All of this without their parents even knowing. Seems pretty extreme. Yeah. I'm wondering if you could tell us, I mean, is this even legal?
Yeah, it's the most extreme abortion law in the country if this passes. They're trying to get it into our state constitution. It's on the ballot next month. And it does many of the things you just said. It gets rid of parental notification and parental consent laws. It gets rid of minor consent laws. This will allow, frankly, issues of adults having intimate relations with children will be permitted under this right to reproductive freedom. They're selling it as an abortion amendment, but it really is not. It goes way beyond that. It's called the right to reproductive freedom. And it'll include children being given sex change operations and hormones and everything without their parents knowing. It allows for abortion right up to the moment of birth. It allows for partial birth abortion. It's just a terrible, terrible law. We've written an issue brief through Great Lakes Justice Center. You can go to greatlakesjc.org and get our issue brief, and you can see all of the things. There's 16 points we've raised that are real concerns and problems with this law. So we're out all over the state trying to galvanize the church and getting people out there, and yard signs, getting people talking on social media to let them know what this really does. This law is not just putting Roe v. Wade back into Michigan's law, which is what the other side is claiming. Well, it is way beyond that. It's a horrible law.
Yeah, it really seems that way for sure. David, thank you so much for joining us today and talking to us about all this. I wish we had more time, but we thank you for talking with us.
Well, thanks for having me on. Take care.